ليحملوا أوزارهم كاملة يوم القيامة ومن أوزار الذين يضلونهم بغير علم ألا ساء ما يزرون. That they may bear their own burdens in full on the day of resurrection, and also they would take the burden of those whom they misguided without knowledge. Ala sa'a ma yazirun. What a terrible and what a miserable burden they are going to take on their shoulders. This verse talks about the final outcome and the grave outcome they are going to receive on the day of judgment for this kind of attitude in this world, where they themselves went astray and they also led other people's go into astray. So they are not just passive audience or watchers. No, they participated actively in opposing the message of Allah and the message of the messenger and prophets. They were the leaders in those media outlets. They were spreading all this kind of false accusations of this Quran, this message being fables and tales and legends and myth and all kind of accusations. Let them not forget that a day will come, the day of judgment, where each one starts to carry his own sins as weighs, some heavy burdens on their shoulder. The sins will be transformed into burdens on our shoulder. The more sins you have, the heavier the burden you'll have. But these people will have their own sins, as well as they will carry the sins of others whom they have driven astray. And this is a well-known rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that whoever calls people to righteous, he will get the reward, and maybe in a multiplied form, and he will get the reward of those whom he preached and they followed him on the right path. But their reward, those followers' reward, will not be diminished or decreased, because the treasury of Allah is endless. So if X was the caller and Y was the recipient, and he accepted your call, then you, Mr. X, who was the caller, you will receive double the reward. You will receive the reward of yourself, and as well as the reward of the person who followed you on the right path. And the same equation goes to those who call others to the wrong path and divert them from the path of righteousness. So here Allah clearly mentions that on the day of judgment they would carry double of the burdens. And also note that this verse did not excuse that group who are just mere followers, because it was their responsibility to verify things. I mean, if someone just tells you, don't listen to the Quran, it is all fables, you should not just go and believe him and come on the day of judgment and say that, oh God, I was just a following. Allah would answer then that, haven't I given you a ration and intellect? Why didn't you verify this claim? Why did you blindly follow those elders or media or outlets or newspaper or book or whatever? So this won't stand on the day of judgment as a valid excuse. I think no better example to illustrate this than Donald Trump in the latest US election. What did he do? he just spread a fake news, and everybody just followed and believed him, although these are very easily verifiable facts. You just have to check the facts, and even if they were shown the facts, they would still follow this leader. Wasn't that interesting to know that the Oxford Dictionary decided to make the word post-truth as the word of the year, the last year. So now we have alternative truth, alternative facts. So we are really living in a world that is really turned upside down. And now, especially with those media outlets and social media outlets, a person can just throw something and it goes to millions of people in seconds. So given these things, one really need to be very careful and pay attention to this kind of wisdom and be aware of what kind of consequence one has to face on the day of judgment.